views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the individuals participating in the show. All persons described or mentioned in the podcast should be considered innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. This podcast contains subject matter such as violence and graphic descriptions along with adult language, which may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Have you ever went without sleep for several days? Maybe you've smoked meth. Do you smoke? Stop it. I gotta Do you suffer from sleep paralysis? All these things could cause you to see very mysterious creatures out of your peripheral vision. Are these beings real? What are you actually seeing? Could they be just figments of your imagination or something far more sinister? You're listening to the Mysterious Brews podcast, and tonight we're bringing the case of the Shadow People.
Welcome to a deep, dark, dank, moist basement. I can't do it, man. I about had a fucking stroke during opening 3 times.
I was so excited about it, I spoke through your opening. But yeah, I think that's the best opening we might have had. If everyone could have saw your expression, they could have seen you laughing. You almost fell on the floor.
I was curled up in the fetal position, and the best part about it was, hey, man, you got your opening? Yeah, man, I'm going to wing it. I had no clue that was coming.
Well, from my research, that was
holy.
It was like people that smoke methamphetamines tend to see these motherfuckers.
Oh, my head is the color of a Coke can. I have tears in my eyes. God almighty, that was the best one yet.
We're going to leave that as one take, Coach, but other than the fact that you fucked it up, I was being professional.
Oh, you're being professional.
For once, I was being professional.
Oh, you're out. You've lost your damn mind.
You screwed it up for me.
Holy Lord, man. I thought I was going to pass out there about twice. I was trying to stifle the laugh. Oh, dear God. Okay, so
I'm just saying.
We have some of the best patrons ever because they not only did they enjoy the pickle story, we have some great interactions. If you only join Patreon to support us, we thank you from the bottom of our heart, but you're not tapping into the wealth of what your money is paying for. There is a whole chat that I don't even see between patrons about our episodes. It's phenomenal. One thing
all I'm saying is if you've listened to the episode where I mentioned the pickle story and your curiosity is not piqued to the point that you're willing to pay $3 just to hear that story is worth it. And it is 100% true. I suffered through it. It's not a long story. It took me 45 seconds to tell it.
Yeah.
But good God, great googly moogly.
Patreon has some other things that they have made available. They're trying to compete with, hell. I can't think of who it was now. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I will say that it's not letting me get to it because this is why I'm an idiot and I can't get to the.
I would never call you that.
Cancel.
To your face.
No, I don't want to edit it. Damn. Yes, I want to leave. Shit. Okay, so the Winfords were having a lively discussion on our last episode that dropped today because we're recording these a week out. Miss Winford had some things to tell Mr. Winford, And obviously, one of us used one of her favorite sayings. I'll tell you after the podcast, but
no, tell me now.
Well,
let's
I can't because you're on double secret probation of what you can and what cannot say. So,
well, let me say this: the person that has asked me to watch our language also said she would not listen to this episode because it freaks her out and she doesn't believe in it.
Oh, okay.
Because she thinks it's demons. So this is your chance.
Okay, so all right, so it's not as bad as I made it out to be. I was just trying to give you shit. But in the comment section, because we release these, I try to release them at least 48 hours out. Most of the time it's like 36 hours out because Saturdays hurt a lot worse than they used to during football season.
Oh my God, you're so right.
God almighty, they hurt. Anyway.
Hank Williams Jr. was right, brother.
Yeah, yes. So Miss Winford tells Mr. Winford, see, I'm not the only one that calls someone a dick face.
Who called who a dick face, though?
I don't remember. I'm sure I called you one or called somebody in the story one.
I mean, I know we've said it to each other many times, but I can't recall exactly if it was this episode or not.
I don't know. Oh, I will say this, and I'm going to put this out to, I may put this out as a poll, which we have a lot of people that follow us, but we don't have a lot of interaction, but I will try to put this out as a poll. Patreon has now, we can sell posts. So like the pickle story, I could sell that one episode.
You can sell it for how much?
Whatever the hell.
How much you think that pickle story's worth?
I don't know. We'll put that to the community. We'll put that to the community first, and then we'll probably get some crazy ass thing. But anyway, let's see. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was we have some new patrons because of the pickle story. We have Mar, the artist known as Mar at the $1 shout out tier. And here's the deal, Pickles.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. The $1 shout out tier gets you the Patreon exclusive stuff. So no, he's not watching Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That's his dryer in the background.
Shh. You rambling. You won't let me talk. Yes, the $1 tier gets you the access, but come on, man, you can spare $3.
Yeah, and here's the deal. And this is what I was going to say. You can pay for the year, and if you pay for the year in advance, they give you 2 months free. So whatever tier.
If you pay for the year in advance, you will get an exclusive access to at least 2 episodes that no one else can hear.
Yeah, and we've got to get better at that.
Yes, we do, but life gets in the way, man. It really does.
Yeah, it sucks. Okay.
Yes, oh yeah. Nobody told me.
No, I know. Did you
all we wanted to do in life as children was to become adults. And now look at us.
I know.
Fucking look at us, man.
Have you seen the guy? He's got salt and pepper beard. I think his handle's like the bearded Gen Xer or Gen X beard, something like that. And he was like, all right, only Gen X. All of you other fuckers, get off my page. Get away from me. And so he waits like 2 or 3 seconds. He goes, are they gone? Okay, listen to me. Do y'all remember when our parents said, well, you'll understand when you grow up? He goes, I'm almost 50 and I still don't fucking understand. I don't like this. I don't like adulting. I don't want to do any. I want to go back and drink out of the hose. That's all I want to do.
Yeah. I want to slide down the slide again, man.
Yeah. So anyway, back to it. We got another one. Nancy Walters.
What's going on?
I think it's Walters or Waits. So I apologize. Patreon has this stupid shit where their eyes look like they're L's. So I do apologize, but I knew as of today, like she's squeaking brand new. Nancy Waits. It's Nancy Waits at the $3 tier. And yes, I know some of you are still missing your decals. I'm going to mail another batch out because our lovely postal service.
Hey, I think we should acknowledge the fact that the people that are listening to this, even though it'll be over by the time they hear it, have to understand that this is the last day of the week that me and you are going to like each other until after Saturday.
I'll like you Friday. I just won't like you Saturday.
Yeah, I'm not going to like you Saturday either. It's Georgia Hate Week, my friend.
It's true. That's true.
Oh, don't forget our bet now.
I know. Okay. So
let's get into this thing because
I was going to say that's all the Bills news I got.
Yeah, well, to me, this is no mystery.
You've lived
this is
it.
Real.
Yes.
I've seen them.
So
I have experienced them.
To give you a little bit better intro than what Coach came up with, it's not as good comedic value.
My intro was great.
I know it's nominated for an Emmy. What do they call those? A podcast something?
Potties?
Yeah, potties.
Potties.
We're going to come up with our own ones. Potties. We're giving out potties. So have you ever felt like someone was watching you even though you were alone? Maybe you're sitting on the couch reading a book or just watching a video on that YouTube, and all of a sudden the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. It's that unshakable feeling as if somebody is looking at you. And then in your periphery, you catch a shadow moving, flickering like someone was there. But when you turn your head, nothing. Or even worse, you're lying in bed and suddenly you feel a cold chill come over you. You glance over the top of the covers, and sure enough, there looks like a dark figure standing either at the foot of your bed or at the side of your bed. But when you blink, gone. Like a fart in a dust storm, boy. If you've ever experienced something like this, you're not alone. Millions, I say millions of people around the world have had these encounters from all walks of life. These strange...
Now, wouldn't you think if millions of people have experienced the same thing, wouldn't you like automatically think that that's 100% real?
Yes, because like we talked about last week or the week before when you recommended that New York abduction thing on Netflix?
It was a few weeks ago.
Yeah, like that was seen by 20-something people that didn't know each other. So when you multiply that by 1 million, it can't be mass hysteria. So these crazy, strange, shadowy figures have been terrorizing / haunting people for centuries, and they come in many, many forms, but most everyone refers to them as the shadow people. So we will be looking in depth at the shadow people, and probably one of the most infamous ones, the Hat Man.
Which I have personally seen.
So
I have seen the Hat Man.
I'm not downplaying it. I'm just trying to get you to shut the fuck up so we can save it.
No, I'm going to save it till later. I just like to talk during the podcast every once in a while. I promise you by the end of this, I'm going to give my story, but I'm telling you, I seen the motherfucker.
So most everybody that has seen them or describes them talk about kind of a dark human-like outline that seems to flicker in and out of you. You see them in the corner of your eye, or you see something that you thought was moving real quickly, and then when you try to concentrate on it, it's gone. Again, a lot of people have seen these, especially at night during periods of sleepless nights or sleep paralysis. Other people have encountered them in broad daylight. Some can be as vague as silhouettes, and some can be fully formed apparitions. Some people describe the Hat Man as wearing a long coat and, you guessed it, a hat. Not a ball cap.
Oh, are you kidding?
I know it's crazy.
Really?
That's crazy. It's crazy.
I would never guessed.
The video you sent me today as the people are trying to catch it on video, that was pretty freaky, dude.
Which one?
Where they're sitting they got the camera on the table and they're like, when we see him in the corner of the room, we're going to get her to run and look up the stairs. And sure enough.
Yes.
That one peeked around the corner.
I remember that because I sent it to you not too long ago.
That is like a couple hours ago. Dumbass. Okay, so there's a couple
what
of.
do you think about the voice of the dead guy I sent you? That was pretty fucked up.
Yeah, I'd like to do that if there's more information out there on it.
Oh no, I don't fuck with EVPs, man.
No. I don't want to do an EVP. You misunderstood what I'm saying. Like, I would like to tell that story. Like, how did she come to talk? Like, did they know each other? How did that kind of go down?
Yeah, we should look into that. But of all the things in the world that are mysterious, EVPs for some reason creep me out the most.
Okay, since
without other than skinwalkers. Fuck skinwalkers, man. I'm not fucking with skinwalkers. I don't even want to talk about them.
So a couple of weeks ago, I recommended that Sleepy Hollow series that was on Fox for like 4 seasons. You can binge it on Hulu now. So we're in season 2, about halfway through the season, and they had an episode on the Wendigo. I have a new horror that has been unlocked. I never in a million years want to see one of them some bitches. No,
that's true. Skinwalkers first that I do not want to see, and second would be a Wendigo.
Yes.
I would rather bare knuckle fight a chupacabra than see either one of them motherfuckers.
Yeah, I agree with you. 100%. 100%.
I'll whoop a chupacabra's ass.
Yeah, it's going down. It's got the guy fighting the grizzly.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a couple of theories out there. There is, and I want to go over just what they are, and then we'll get more in depth later. But one of the theories is it's a ghost theory, and these are just spirits of the dead, lost souls that haven't crossed over. The interdimensional theory, and this suggests that these are actual people from another dimension slipping in and out of our reality. And I equate it to like, and I've said this a couple of times, it's like when you get into dimensions, like the first and second dimension, it's kind of like an ant. An ant's unaware that we even exist, but all of a sudden there's this big roadblock that's in front of them, and then it disappears. So it blinks in and blinks out from their point of view. So that's what this one would kind of be like for us. And then lastly, the demonic theory. And this one will scare the shit out of you.
Absolutely. But again, this is no mystery to me because I've experienced it. And to me, it feels like the second one. I definitely do not feel like it was ghosts. I definitely did not feel like it was demonic because I was not afraid. It just was what it was. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
To me, the interdimensional seems the most likely. To me. Just saying.
Well, no. And I think that, and we'll get into it when we get further into the episode, but I agree with you on that front because I feel like the interdimensional thing can, I think it's a good theory that kind of cross-populates a lot of stuff that we talk about on our podcast.
Well, I will save it until the end, but I have a theory about what they are. But in my personal experience with them, I was not afraid. And I think that if it was a ghost, I would have been afraid. And if it was a demon, oh, you damn right I would have been afraid. You know what I'm trying to say? Like.
No, I agree with you.
So, go ahead. You're good, brother.
Continue. Thank you. So, like I said, we'll get into more of the theories later in the episode, but I wanted to start off with a couple of stories that I found that are creepy as hell. And then there's some Reddit theories out there. And, you know, Reddit's like going to talk to Alex Jones. You got to take it with a grain of salt. Most of the time they're right, but, you know, 60% of the time it works every time.
Are you talking about Black Panther? Or no. It was Sex Panther.
Sex Panther.
Not Wakanda Forever.
No. Sex Panther. All right. So we're talking about the story of Michael Collins from Brisbane, Australia. It was Christmas Eve in 2002, and Michael, just 8 years old at the time, was lying in bed in the middle of a hot summer night. His family had long since gone to bed and everything was still, but Michael, unable to sleep because of the unbelievable heat, found himself staring at the ceiling. He was thinking about the upcoming holiday, and then he saw movement. A dark figure just on the edge of his window pacing back and forth outside. The figure was dressed in a long trench coat, and Michael could just make out a shadowy hat on its head. The figure moved quickly, almost like it was performing a ritual. Its pace deliberate and slow when walking past the window, yet robotic when it turned. Oddly, Michael didn't feel afraid. And this is not... I didn't steal this from Coach's mind. He just found it strange, even annoying. After closing the curtains, he went back to bed, but the figure was gone. It wasn't until years later, when he was in college, that he read about the shadow people, and specifically the Hat Man. He states that he had a chill run down his spine when he realized what he had seen all of those years ago, and it was undeniable. His mother later revealed a disturbing detail. His childhood friend, Emily, had passed away unexpectedly just days after his strange encounter. Was the Hat Man a forewarning of Emily's death? Michael would never know for sure, but it's a question that still haunts him today. So let's talk about that as an 8-year-old. An 8-year-old. You see this guy, and you, like you said, he's not scared, so it's not demonic. He's just kind of perturbed. Hey, you're pacing outside my window. I'm trying to go to sleep and I can't. It's Christmas Eve. I'm about to get a shit ton of toys and you're messing this up. I got to go to bed or Santa Claus ain't coming. But I think that kind of, I don't know. So not that Hat Man's demonic, but is he this kind of bridges the two theories, and and we'll go back and forth between the theories that I talked about. We'll kind of not talk about the demonic one right now, but the interdimensional and the ghostly theory. Is this some sort of person that kind of helps people cross over, or is this just an out of time person?
I honestly don't know how to answer that because I've seen him and nothing happened to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I didn't cross over. You
didn't have anybody die around you.
No, but I mean, I did at the time very recently. It was like maybe 2 months after I had a very important person leave me, but I didn't get any indication that it was a message or anything like that. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean,
well, and we'll get into this because there's some things that, like, there's two sides to this coin when it comes to the Hat Man. People either have a benevolent encounter or they just have a fleeting encounter, I guess is the best way to say it.
Well, I will say this. My encounter happened because of an extreme bout of insomnia. But, all right, if you want to get into it, let's get into it.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you want to, you could do that one because I've got two stories and then I've got kind of like a synopsis and then we can discuss everything else.
Yeah, I mean, Hat Man is kind of like the crescendo of the shadow people. So let me say this. Like, everyone knows if you've listened to this podcast for a long time, you know that I suffer from insomnia. It's very bad. I have very bad insomnia. So at the time, I had experienced a divorce, and then a week later, my mother perished. And that was very hard on me. Both events were very hard on me. So that exasperated my insomnia. So fast forward a couple months, and I've been dealing with this insomnia, but at the time I had a new girlfriend. Well, that girlfriend left me, and then 3 weeks later, she got married, which is very strange. So dealing with all that compounded on each other, my insomnia took, to be honest with you, I was drinking way too much. And I was drinking to sleep, which worked like a phenomenon. But I decided that I was not going to do that anymore. So my insomnia took over, and I had like 6 straight days of no sleep. And I saw the Hat Man in the kitchen. He was there. I was not scared. I didn't feel like I was in danger. I just knew for a second that he was there. And what I'm trying to say is, I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say, but when you talk about shadow people, when it comes to insomnia, after 2 or 3 days, your peripheral vision starts to see them.
Well, what I was going to say, I think maybe what you're trying to say is we were discussing whether or not he's benevolent or not, and so you saw him, and it wasn't a benevolent situation. You didn't feel scared or anything like that. Yeah, so I guess that's what we're trying to talk about is both sides of the coin there.
Man, what? Why you interrupt me?
I was trying to give some clarification, but you know what? You know what? I won't do that shit no more.
Why interrupt my nonsense with logic and try to pull it all together? No, I'm just trying to talk. This is a stream of consciousness.
I swear the next story sounds like I blended what you've talked about with the first one.
Okay, you go ahead and then I'll continue.
Okay, so in 2013, Sarah's grandmother, Susan, had a terrifying experience while visiting her husband, Albert, in the middle of the night. Susan was used to hearing Albert snore due to his sleep apnea, but this night, everything was eerily quiet. Concerned that something was wrong, she opened the door to his room and froze, like just couldn't move. According to her, on her husband's chest was a dark, shadowy figure pinning him down. No face, just an outline of a head and shoulders, the rest of it fading into a mist. As Susan opened the door wider, the shadow turned to face her and then melted into the bed, disappearing without a trace. Susan, too, probably shit herself, I guess is a good way to say it, but she decided at that moment, as it just melted in, like dissipated like smoke into the bed over her husband, that she would never speak about it. And she kept that to herself until she told her granddaughter. Albert, her husband, would pass away in 2018, and Susan never told him, but never forgot about what she had seen that night. Now, that was 5 years between seeing it and her husband passing away. So again, I don't know. A lot of people point to this story as that what she saw was a premonition of death. I'm not 100% sure that that's what this was, but it's definitely, I would have freaked out if I went into a bedroom and saw something like that over my wife. That's for damn sure.
Absolutely. Well, back to what I was trying to say.
Killing me.
I'm not trying to kill you. I'm just trying to.
Yes, you are. You tried to kill me with the opening, and now you're trying to kill me now.
So, after a long period of bad things, my insomnia took over, and I saw many, many things over a stretch of 6 days. What I'm trying to say is that the shadow people
are the least of your worries.
No. No, what I'm trying to say is the longer you go without sleep, the more prominent the shadow people become.
Yeah, now I've heard that before. Like if you're, and I know that we cut up about the opening, but there's a lot of, and this kind of ties into, and we're just going to jump around all episode. I don't give a shit.
I don't give a shit either. Fuck them.
Fuck them, feed them fish, boys.
if they've stuck around with us this long, they'll understand.
Yes. So
Let's just
there's
jump around.
there's
I'm
a,
just saying, day 1 and 2 of no sleep, you're cool. After day 3, in your peripheral vision, you will see a black person, not a completely solid black shadow person in your peripheral. And as soon as you look to the right or to the left or whatever, they're gone. But the more that you don't sleep, like day 4, day 5, whatever, they become more prominent. They come out further. And eventually, when I was telling you, like the 6 days I went without sleep, they were completely in view. And then when I would look at them, they would disappear. But after 6.5 days of no sleep, I looked into my kitchen because I saw one out of my peripheral. And I looked directly at it. And it was the Hat Man. He was solid black, looked like he had a long coat and a hat. And he stayed for 2, maybe 3 seconds. And then he was gone too. But I'm telling you, that's the only time in my life that I've literally seen shadow people, but I made like what we would consider direct eye contact with a shadow person.
yeah, and
I'm looking in my kitchen now, and it freaks me out because where I'm recording, I can see my kitchen. I can see exactly where he was standing, and he disappeared in front of me. Like when you 2 days sleep, you see a shadow person out of the peripheral vision. You look to the right, and they look like they dart back to the right. You know what I'm trying to say?
yeah, I know what you're trying to say.
Dart back behind the wall.
Yeah.
No. This thing made eye contact with me, even though it didn't have eyes, and then disappeared in front of my face. That's 100% true. You will never convince me that these shadow people are not real.
So I think the guy that has this on Reddit, I think his handle's 26LT. This one said, since we're talking about the Hat Man, and I'll jump back about what he thinks the origin is, but he said a lot of people will talk about encountering a very hostile shadow person, usually wearing a trench coat, a top hat, sometimes, very rarely though, a briefcase, other times bearing red eyes, although any shadow person can have red eyes, according to him.
I definitely did not see a briefcase, and I definitely did not see red eyes. I saw a black figure, which looked like it had a long trench coat all the way down to the feet, and definitely a hat.
Now, he says the ones with red eyes are always malevolent. The entity usually is called the Hat Man, and if it has red eyes, he's not very friendly. I was trying to go out. He's got a lot. He knows how to type very well. This one, he says that when you see that Hat Man with the red eyes, he usually comes around in a very low, dark, sad, or distressing point in your life. And
that's 100% true.
And that they shadow people feed off your negative energy and emotions, which in turn makes them stronger. So they're almost like energy vampires in his mind. He also serves as a representation of an upcoming negative event, such as the death of a loved one or an accident of some kind. Now,
good God, I mean, seriously, you're describing exactly what I was going through at that time.
He says, and I'll just go ahead and do this now. He says the origins that he has researched come from the jinns from the Middle East. And
yeah, I was going to bring that up a little bit later, that might be the explanation.
Yeah, and they said that basically they can come in any form they want to. They can come in the form of the Hat Man, or like that lady saw, just a head and shoulders. Okay, so shadow people are jinns that were here before humans and are made of smokeless fire. This is from the Quran. He says, they're not actually shadows, but instead they're made out of some material as the heat on top of a flame. They live on the earth among us, but cannot be seen simply because and only when they choose to be seen. They only show up if they feel as though it's necessary or if they are called upon. And as for those who encounter shadow people involuntarily, this is because they are greatly attracted to people and or locations that radiate or are associated with negative energy or negative emotions. If your mind is under the influence in any way, shape, or form, the potential unlocks great sensory and or emotional channels that can attract them. This is where the demonic side of it comes in.
Well, I mean, just speaking from experience, at the time, I did not feel any fear or any type of like sinister feeling. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like that for me.
Well, that's what I was about to say. He goes through this whole tirade, and then he says a lot of people, many people have documented the benevolent encounters with him to the point of absolutely insisting that they were no harm to them. And like you said, they did not feel afraid.
No, I didn't. I really didn't. But I don't think, like, the word benevolent doesn't match what I felt either. I will say, whenever we get to theories about what they are, it probably will make more sense. But I didn't feel fear. I didn't feel a sinister or anything, nor did I feel like it was a benevolent being at all.
All right, so the next story I have is Lindsay Morton and Ian Jenkins in Cardiff, Wales. When Lindsay and Ian moved into their new home, they quickly realized something was amiss. At first, it was the small things, objects moved, strange noises, but soon it escalated. Their dog Mitch would growl at thin air, and they began to feel like they were being watched. One night while watching TV, they both saw it. A dark figure peeking around the doorway. They both saw it, and as did the dog. It became a regular occurrence, with the figure constantly lurking just out of direct sight. But one night, things took a darker turn. Lindsay woke to find a towering dark figure standing over her bed, 7 feet tall, featureless, and completely black. It was only when she hid under the covers that the figure disappeared. It was at that point that I shit the bed, and he smelt that poop, and he ran. Because that's what would have happened in my house. I would have shit the bed. But anyway, this couple called in a spiritualist and cleansed the house. Supposedly, according to them, the activity stopped, but the fear of what they experienced, kind of a little PTSD kind of lingered, and they don't know if they were dealing with a poltergeist or with a shadow person. I don't know. Skeptics will argue that it's just visual anomalies, tricks of the mind causing like low frequency vibrational stress or even sleep paralysis. But like I said in the beginning, that does not take into account that these things are seen by millions of people. Millions of people. I don't know. The guy on Reddit said that he feels like, from what he has researched, that prayer will make them go away. And he's in his closing post, he said, "I'm not trying to make this about religion, and by no means am I a superstitious / religious person, but I do know that prayer in many cases have gotten these entities to leave you alone." And then that whole, like, he starts the thread with that whole thing. And then people have like just gave their own accounts of what was going on. There was a guy kind of going on what you said in the opening, was he was doing speed and not eating and just assumed that he was being attacked by demons or energy vampires. And then this person, I love Reddit for the handles. Gizzle Bitches says,
how are you supposed to be taken seriously when your name is Nizzle Bitches?
no, it's Gizzle. It's even worse. Gizzle.
Gizzle Bitches.
Yeah, Gizzle Bitches said, corner of your eye movement, direct focus gone like a dim star in the sky. I know many people that will second your opinion. One saw the hat very close, though, froze, swore it leaned over his shoulder. Knew this guy my whole life, brawler, dirt biker, never scared. 3 days after he told me, I went to get him for work and he OD'd that night. This guy's eyes were usually half masked, telling the story. The whites over his retinas were clearly visible and seemed more traumatic than losing both of his parents and his brother. I was trying to see what the other one. Of course, there's douchebags on there. Andrew Sky with an extra Y1. You're a douche canoe. Here's a good one. Just name Morticia Dumbledore. Marshmallow Floofs 85 says that he's seen one a couple of times.
Names are cracking me
I know,
up,
man.
dude.
That's why I love going to Reddit for stuff. The names, it's great. This Marshmallow Floofs 85 says that he used to see him when he would start working 60-hour weeks on second and third shift. Then somebody picks apart the Quran, of course. What? This guy says they have the shadow people have a mental age of 10 to 15. No.
How does he know?
I know. Well, you get them to come over and do things. So,
How could he possibly know that?
This guy says Necrid. Necrid says he has encountered him. His encounters with them have always come with sleep paralysis. And the comparison with the jinn are very spot on in his opinion. So he calls it like a dream trap almost, to get out of the sleep paralysis. Anyway, this guy kind of ties it into like Black-Eyed Children, but that I don't see the bridge.
I don't see a connection between the two.
I don't either.
Not at all.
No, I don't either.
I think he's way off base for that. Do I think Black-Eyed Children exist? Yes.
Repulsive Aid 5520.
Do I think they're shadow people? No.
Repulsive Aid 5528 said he almost shot the Hat Man and was glad he didn't because behind the Shat Man when he dematerialized was his cat. Scene in War. Here you go. One time during a meth binge, I was actually able to get close to a shadow person, close enough to see some details, even though it was dark outside. But he looked just like me, like a clone of me. Same clothes, face, hair, everything. He climbed over a tree and darted away, leaving no trace and never to be seen again. Somebody said, is this a dream too? Says, why do they show up with people that do drugs? So the guy that said that, it was on a meth binge, says, I don't know why, but I see it more as opening your eyes and your third eye for seeing stuff that's not normally seen around you. Humans can only see a small portion, but animals can see much more, and so then they go back and forth. But I guess my thing with the theories, going back to the theories, and I had kind of alluded to this, my thing is, and there's been we've done several Missing 411 episodes, but I think, Pilatus is never going to come out and say that it's Bigfoot or it's aliens or it's shadow people or nothing like that. He just puts the story out there, and
he definitely insinuates
very
strongly that it's Bigfoot.
I will say that
you cannot deny that.
No, I'm not denying it.
Don't deny it.
I'm just saying he never comes out and says it. Killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. But anyway, the shadow people and the interdimensional stuff, I feel like that. there was a couple of stories, and I don't think we've necessarily covered them, but I've just read about them, watched YouTube videos about a lot of the missing 411, and there's several people that have talked about when they're found that they could see these people, like shadow people in the distance, but they were blocked.
We covered that in
Which one was it?
We did a 3-part. We did a 1 episode that was 3 people. One of the ones, like the guy that was disappeared in Michigan and he woke up in Southern California.
Yeah.
You remember that? But we covered another lady that was missing, and she could see the rescuers trying to get to her.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, when she called out to them, they couldn't hear her, but she reported that there were shadow people watching her the entire time.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah,
her name. I apologize that I can't remember her name.
That's the one I'm talking about. And see, I think there's a lot of, and Mr. Ballin there for a while, he would do, I think he's got like a whole subchapter on his YouTube channel about missing 411. He used to do 2 or 3 at a time. So I chased that rabbit hole. I think he had when I had binged all of them, I think he had like 22 episodes dedicated to it. And he pulled his stories out of Pilatus's book.
Right.
So I think there's more people like that lady that have said they could hear people, and then they went to yell about it and like, hey, I'm over here. And it was almost like their voice was being muffled, and they saw the shadow people then and it was kind of like a shimmering effect separating them from what they said were the rescuers.
Right.
I don't know, man. I'm glad you've seen it. I don't want to see it.
I do not. I don't want to see them. I don't. Again, I will reiterate, every time that I have seen them, I have never been scared. But I don't like it. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, and so out of the 3 theories that
if you're listening to this and you want to experiment and think that you want to see the shadow people, you need to stay up. You need to stay awake for at least 3 days. And then you'll see them. I promise you'll see them. Like, regardless if they are visual hallucinations, those hallucinations are real. They're real events. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's not really a mystery to me because I know these things exist, whether they're completely within my own mind. To me, they're real. You know, that sounds weird. I don't know if I said that right, but you get what I'm trying to say?
No. I 100% understand what you're trying to say.
And if over 1 million people on Earth have experienced something similar, how could it possibly be not true? But like I said, I have a theory of what they are.
Well, let's hear it, dude, because that's where we're at.
Yeah, I think the only word that I could give them that would make sense is a watcher.
Yeah. I like that. I never thought about it that way.
I think that they are watchers of our dimension. I think they are beyond our dimension that we can't see. They don't mean us harm. They're not demonic, but they are beyond our understanding. And you have to put yourself in a situation, whether it be too much sleep. I know sleep paralysis people have seen these things as well, but sleep deprivation seems like the best way to get there to me because that's the only way I've experienced it. I think they are extra dimension.
Yeah, I like it.
They're beyond our dimension, and you have to put your mind in a place that it's not used to in order to access the ability to see these type of things. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. And I have been there. Like everything I've said about my experience, my 6.5 days of no sleep, I can't explain. I will. Everything that I saw during that time period, I will sum up with this. My sister wanted to go to an Amish market. I was about 6.5 days with no sleep. My sister loves to go to the Amish market in Polk, just beyond Polk County, Tennessee. It's about an hour and a half away. She asked me if I wanted to go. I said, sure. And I put my shoes on, and I got a direct message in plain English from my body. It wasn't from my brain. I can't explain what I'm trying to say. I knew it didn't come from my brain. It came from my body. My body said, no, we are going to go to sleep in the next 120 seconds. You need to be somewhere where you're safe because we're going to sleep regardless. If you're standing up, we're gone. It sounds crazy, but my body told me we're going to sleep. Regardless of what you want, regardless of what you're doing, we're gone. And I told her no, took my shoes off. I went and laid in the bed, and I slept for like 20 hours. And let me tell you, when I woke up, I had no fucking clue where I was. I had no clue what happened.
What
what I'm trying to say is if those things are connected to your brain, they're still real because my brain was able to tell me, you're done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I can't really articulate it because it doesn't make sense to me even to this day. I just know that this is what happened. Like maybe 4:00 in the morning before she said that is when I saw the Hat Man. And she wanted to go like 9:00, maybe 10:00 that morning.
Could you imagine you falling out on that drive? She'd have never got you out of the car.
I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. But I honestly, honest to God, remember putting my shoes on and standing up to walk out of the house. And my body was like,
nope.
No. You got about 2 minutes.
Not today, B-Han. Not today.
Not today, motherfucker.
All right. So just revisiting. So the three theories and then Coach's theory is, we got the ghostly theory, the interdimensional theory, and the demonic theory. I'm pretty sure there's stories out there. I just didn't want to chase the demonic theory because we deal with enough death and missing and horribleness. This one's supposed to make your brain itch. I really do. I like the way you kind of hybridized that there and called them watchers. I still think the interdimensional thing, that's the craziest theory for me. Could it be a ghostly thing? It could be, but it seems like they show up. And this is this would be the demonic side of it. It's almost like in Ghost when they come get his friend, like those shadow looking people come get his friend after his friend's killed that killed him. But I really think the interdimensional and the ghost theory have a little bit more, I don't know if you'd say credence, but I think makes a lot more sense for me that we're seeing. And hell, this could be the thing. And if it is an interdimensional / watcher situation, maybe you're seriously seeing a person's shadow and they're like, well, shit, there we go again. I stepped in front of the light. Or, I'm over here looking over at these dumbasses in the third dimension and somebody drives by and backlights me.
I mean, maybe, but I think that you have to be in a special mental place.
I think you have to be more. Yeah, I was going to say, I think you may have to be more open-minded when it comes to, because when
whether that be sleep deprivation, whether that be suffering from sleep paralysis, I think you have to be in a different state of mind than we are normally. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. Yeah. All right, so that is the episode on the Shadow People, and we're going to get into recommendations. Coach, I'll let you go first.
I'm going to recommend Love on the Run from Netflix. It's about that correctionals officer that fell in love with an inmate and helped them escape, and then blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, there you go.
Watch it. It's good.
Good. Well, I'm on steal Coach's thunder because I just thought about this because my mother and her with both her bionic hips and new knee text me on Sunday to make sure that I understood it was coming. Blind Frog Ranch comes back on November 20th, season 4.
Oh man, dude, yes.
Yeah. She was like, don't you forget now, season 4's coming. And I was like, yes, ma'am. Got my DVR set now.
I love that show, seriously.
Kind of going back to one of my previous recommendations, the Lost Monster Files. I'm gonna tell you something, man. They do some interesting little shows. They're not proving anything, of course, but it's enough circumstantial evidence. You're like, They did the Minnesota Iceman, and
I've seen what's supposedly the real Minnesota Iceman. I saw it in New Orleans. It was on display.
They're actually going through Ivan T. Sanderson's archives and for new cases. And I didn't realize that Sanderson spent 2 whole days up there at that guy's farm where he had the original one on display. And he's the one that said he could smell a decomposition coming from the ice. And then the next thing he knows, there's that, what he says is clearly a fake that has been swapped out. And then the rumor was that, I can't think of the guy that originally shot it, whatever. He supposedly buried it somewhere on his property. But anyway, that Lost Monster Files, I think it's on Discovery. It's a very good one too. So I'm not, the coolest one I think so far was, well, there's 2. They did the Chupacabra in North Carolina, came up with DNA evidence that the one that lady had mounted in Texas, she gave them some, she still has part of it frozen, so she gave them a sample of it. And they proved that the DNA of the thing that they got a snare from was the same DNA makeup. So that was pretty cool. And then the Thunderbird one they did up in, I think it's Pennsylvania, maybe. Yeah, it's Pennsylvania. But anyway, if any of that stuff interests you, check those out. Coming up on the old Thanksgiving. So next week, even though you'll be hearing this after the game, so 2 weeks, 2 weeks after the game, you will hear one of us sing a fight song.
Are we actually singing it, or are we just going to play it? I thought we agreed to play it.
Oh, we can play it. I would much rather play it because I don't want to sing it.
I think that's what we agreed on, was play it. And then we were supposed to say the winning team was the greatest football team of all time.
Okay. All right. Y'all heard it here first. All right, boys and girls. Coach, you got anything else?
Oh, I don't.
Deuces.